Tombstone, Arizona was founded in 1879 by prospector Ed Schieffelin in what was then Pima County, Arizona Territory. It became one of the last boom towns in the American frontier. The town grew significantly into the mid-1880s as the local mines produced 40 to 85 million in silver bullion. The town was established on Goose Flats, a mesa above the Goodenough mine. Its population grew from 100 to around 14,000 in less than 7 years. Big Nose Kate's Saloon was once the Grand Hotel, the original building built in 1881. Mary Catherine Harney Cummings, popularly known as Big Nose Kate, was a Hungarian-born American outlaw, gambler, prostitute, and longtime companion and common-law wife of gambler and gunfighter Doc Holliday. Tough, stubborn, and fearless, she was educated, but chose to work as a prostitute due to the independence it provided her. She is the only woman with whom Holliday is known to have had a relationship. Is Big Nose Kate's Saloon haunted? Many people indeed believe it is. From seeing ghostly soiled doves or ladies of the night and phantom cowboys drinking and raising hell, to one individual known as the Swamper. Swamper was a handyman for the Grand Hotel, the former establishment of the location. He was a friendly man who lived in a small room in the basement of the hotel. Labeled a treasure hunter, it is believed he dug tunnels under the hotel searching for treasure. He's been sighted often and been known to touch and poke people. Moaning sounds are heard as well. The Birdcage Theater opened in 1881. It was owned by Lottie and Billy Hutchinson. Hutchison, a variety performer, originally intended to present respectable family shows. But the economics of Tombstone didn't support their aspirations. They soon began offering baser entertainment that appealed to the rough mining crowd. The walls of the birdcage were riddled with gunshot holes from shootings by gunfighters of the American frontier. The birdcage was open 24 hours a day and was the scene of at least 16 gun and knife fights over the years. By the time the doors were shut permanently in 1889, there were 140 bullet holes in the walls and ceiling. There were 12 balcony boxes where prostitutes worked. The Birdcage's ladies of the night plied their trade in cribs, some of which were suspended from the ceiling. 14 cribs also lined the sides of the gambling hall, 7 on each side of the room. The ladies drew the drapes while entertaining their clients with champagne, kisses, and other favors of their trade. The longest poker game in history was played in the basement of the theater. Those who wished to play had to buy in for $1,000 up front. Among the notable people who played in this particular game were George Hurst, Diamond Jim Brady, Adolphus Busch, Doc Holliday, Bat Masterson, and Wyatt Earp. The poker game was played continuously 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It continued from 1881 to 1889 for a total of 8 years. Is the Birdcage Theater haunted? Spirits said to roam the theater include those of former performers, gamblers, and even victims of violence. Reports of a lady in a red dress, believed to be a former prostitute, are common, a phantom gambler who moves cards on tables. There are many sightings of a prostitute named Margarita, who was murdered by another prostitute over a dispute for a man. Then there is the enigmatic lady in white, seen frequently by many. Numerous employees have had encounters with this spectral beauty, passing through rooms or descending stairwells without acknowledging the living around her. Unexplained events are the norm here. The gunfight at the OK Corral was a gunfight that lasted less than a minute between lawmen led by Virgil Arp and members of a loosely organized group of outlaws called the Cowboys that occurred on October 26, 1881. It is generally regarded as the most famous gunfight in the history of the American Old West. On one side were Deputy U.S. Marshal and Town Marshal Virgil Earp, his two brothers and Special Policemen Morgan and Wyatt Earp, and Temporary Policeman Doc Holliday. Their opponents, Cowboys Billy Claiborne, brothers Ike and Billy Clanton, and brothers Tom and Frank McClory. The gunfight was the result of a long simmering feud. Virgil made the decision to enforce a city ordinance prohibiting carrying weapons in town and to disarm the Cowboys. About 30 shots were fired in 30 seconds. The gunfight left Cowboys Billy Clanton and the McClory brothers dead. Virgil, Morgan Earp, and Doc Holliday were all wounded. The McClory brothers and Billy Clanton are all buried in Boothill Cemetery. Is the OK Corral haunted? The OK Corral is said to be haunted by the Cowboys and lawmen. Visitors witness various poltergeists throughout the property. Apparitions of men in cowboy attire are the most frequent sightings, appearing with their guns drawn. The specter of a tall, thin man in a flat-brimmed hat has been sighted. Is this Virgil? Cold spots are often reported, as well as the sound of phantom horses. On July 1st, 1897, another killing happened on East Allen Street, near the OK Corral site. Two ranchers who hated each other finally had it out. William Green shot Justice Jim Burnett as a consequence of their feud over water rights. Both shared the river. Green had dammed up the river. Burnett hired a man to blow up the dam. Green's daughter and her friend were drowned in the rushing water. Justice Jim Burnett's apparition is clearly seen entering the old office building behind the OK Corral and walking down the street near the OK Corral. Boothill Graveyard is a small graveyard of at least 250 interments located in Tombstone. Also known as the Old City Cemetery, the graveyard was used after 1883 only to bury outlaws and a few others. Boot Hill refers to the number of men who died with their boots on. Among a number of pioneer Boot Hill cemeteries in the Old West, Tombstone is among the best known. Originally called Boothill Cemetery, the graveyard was founded in 1878. After a new city cemetery was built elsewhere, the old cemetery stopped accepting new burials in about 1883, save for very few exceptions. The most famous burials in Tombstone's Boothill are those of Billy Clanton and Tom and Frank McClory, losers in the OK Corral gunfight with the Earps and Doc Holliday. Most of Boothill's burials are from deaths between 1879 and 1883. Today, hundreds of thousands of visitors come to Tombstone. Boot Hill is either the first place they stop or the last site they visit on their way home. Like the city of Tombstone, Boot Hill is filled with history and legends. Is Boothill Graveyard haunted? The following photograph was captured in 1996 by Ike Clanton, a descendant of the OK Corral Clantons. Clanton shot this photograph of a friend in the graveyard who wanted a picture of himself dressed up in period clothing in the Old West. The photo was shot in black and white to give it an old look. Look just to the right of Ike's friend and you'll see a person which appears to have no legs or is coming out of a grave. Some people think it looks like a little boy, some say an old man, or even an old lady. What do you think? If you look carefully, the person in the background appears to be holding a knife. 2 weeks after this photo was shot, there was an effort to recreate it. It could not be recreated. Recreated images displayed full bodies with legs visible. The figure in the background in the original photograph also appears on the negative.
Tombstone is the largest authentic Old West town still in the United States. It is very surreal to walk the very streets that Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, Billy Clanton, Bat Masterson once patrolled so many years ago. Our first day in Tombstone required a stop at the very famous OK Corral. This is absolutely a must-see while in Tombstone, particularly the gunfight reenactment. Entertaining and very enjoyable, plus you get to take a few photographs with Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, and the rest of the crew. Looking for somewhere to dine? Look no further than Big Nose Kate's Saloon. The atmosphere is wonderful, authentic, friendly, and cozy. The food is very affordable and absolutely delicious, and their drinks are the bomb. Our team literally ate and drank here every day while in Tombstone. There is a nightlife in Tombstone as well, even to this day. Saloons and taverns are abundant. Or just take a stroll along the dark, creepy streets of Tombstone. It is an experience unlike any other. And if you're into looking for scorpions in the middle of the night, make sure you bring a black light. The little critters glow brighter than a glow stick. Pretty cool stuff. Most scorpion species are fluorescent, meaning they glow, in this case, a dazzling bluish green when exposed to ultraviolet light. The main purpose of our visit to Tombstone is the famed and historic Birdcage Theater, and I should say, very haunted as well. We had several days to visit the theater, examine the history, learn more about the paranormal experiences here, and to cap it all off with a paranormal investigation of our own of the Birdcage Theater before heading home. The Birdcage Theater is actually named for its 14 crib-style rooms that hang from the ceiling. These hung over the dance hall and the casino. These rooms were referred to as cages and is where soiled doves or prostitutes would spend the evening with cowboys and gentlemen. One interesting tidbit was that the brothel was actually open continuously 24/7 for a period of 9 years. That's right, the Birdcage Theater was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 3,285 days straight. Wow!
Before the theater closed in 1889, there were 16 gunfights that occurred here. Those gunfights left 140 bullet holes in the walls and the ceiling. There are claims here that 26 ghosts, deceased individuals, currently reside here at the Birdcage Theater. There are reports of loud music that is heard here late at night, smells and scents of cigar smoke and whiskey. Female apparitions have been sighted often. The Birdcage Theater is a hotspot for paranormal teams across the country.
So yes, our Team Black Raven Paranormal is beyond excited to be here. The opportunity to tour and investigate this incredible location is a dream come true. Some other interesting tidbits about the Birdcage Theater to know are: the location became a historic landmark of the Old West in 1934.
Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, Bat Masterson, and Johnny Ringo visited the theater often. Wyatt Earp actually met his third wife here, Sadie Josephine Marcus, known as Sadie Joe. Sadie Joe had her own bordello room here at the Birdcage. The Birdcage Theater is best known for the longest poker game to be played here in the Old West. The game was played here for 8 years, 5 months, and 3 days. The house game required players to buy $1,000 in chips to have a seat in the game. It is estimated that $10 million was exchanged in the game. The Birdcage would close in 1889 due to the local mines flooding and eventually shutting down mining in the area. Mining in the area fell off tremendously. The Birdcage shut down a short time later, and Tombstone was no longer a thriving town.
Can you see me? If you're listening, did you take care of me? Do you want me to leave?